There's only one place where you can be with your twin flame. And for some reason, people perceive it to be the exact opposite of what it is. The goal, essentially, of spirituality, if you could even put it like that, is to know more deeply who you are, to expand through the circumstances and challenges that we experience, but more so than anything, it's to enjoy the experience that we're having. And the only way we can actually enjoy our experience to the fullest is to go to the only place where everything is. And that's at the edge. That's at the edge. And the edge is a place where you cannot make any negotiations. It's a place where your fears aren't allowed to take root, to take hold. It's where you're the most open to everything that life has to offer. And you're not holding on to any of it. Like you're not trying to grasp and ascertain and to keep things forever. Instead, you allow things to come and go as they do without any gripe about how, when, or what happens. You, in any given moment, look to get the most out of it. And it's natural for you to, since you're not resisting any aspect of reality. Instead, you're letting it flow completely through you, including all of your fears, including all of your doubts, including all of the false conclusions, misperceptions that you have. None of it matters. It all burns away in the heat of the moment. The heat of the ever-present moment that you can at any moment step into. But the reason why most don't is because they're afraid. They're so afraid that they're not even willing to look at their fear. The place I'm talking about is looking your fear dead in the face without flinching. To go to the place you know you need to go, even though every other aspect other than the place of your absolute knowingness and sovereignty is screaming at you to go the other way. It's telling you, oh, there's nothing there. Oh, it's boring. It's empty. Scary. It's terrifying. And it's the one place where your mind tells you that your twin flame isn't. Tells you it's everywhere else but this one place. In fact, this one place, it seems like, is the place where you are with reckless abandon, as if they don't even matter, completely throwing them away to the wind, to be obliterated by the harsh rays of the sun, evaporated in the heat of the moment, along with everything else. You don't look for yourself because there's nowhere to look. There's nothing to find. It's not because you're not there. It's because everything burns away at the very edge. There are places and at times circumstances which may, to someone who's never been there, they believe that they're there because they feel like what they're doing is very exciting or very risky. In fact, a lot of the people who are adrenaline junkies do all sorts of crazy things to to force themselves into the place that I'm talking about. And it seems like they're potentially throwing their lives away. Or at the very least, if they lost it doing these stunts, that it almost wouldn't matter. Almost like partially that that kind of risk is a part of it, something that they definitely take in stride, and maybe even an enjoyable aspect of it. Wouldn't take it it's not something that you could take without that aspect and have it be the same, have it be as fulfilling. Because they know one thing that most other people don't, is that real life happens only at the edge. When that's realized, everything else becomes entirely unsatisfactory, including at some point chasing this high, this unstable high. The place that I'm talking about, you can't be there and hold on to anything. You experience everything that the adrenaline junkies experience without having to do anything. It's a natural aspect of life. Not your life, but of life in general. Something that most people avoid. And when they see you doing it, it looks like you can do no wrong. Maybe it looks like you're lucky. Maybe it looks like everything just kind of works out for you, you know? And you seem to be having a whole lot of fun doing it. But it's almost as if the fun entirely comes on its own. It's not because you're doing anything. It's not for any reason. You just feel fantastic. For no reason. You just feel fantastic. There's no particular reason why you feel good. And in fact, when someone comes around and treats you poorly, it's almost as if it's absolutely necessary for people to be that way. Because all of the things that they're avoiding, that you would avoid too, exists in that place too. Except you don't avoid it. You take it in stride. And it's not a battle. It's full. It contains all the aspects of reality right now, living, breathing, and aware, that you're avoiding. And it's the only place that you can find the fullness that you are. You can't find it anywhere else. Most people look in the mind for it. And unfortunately, many believe that they have found it, and they try to apprehend it, and it becomes ego, a spiritualized ego. No different from the ego they had prior to. It's the same ego, just put on slightly different clothes. Nothing different. They've just fooled themselves. And the ego is now taken on a particular form that they're not going to immediately recognize. But if they had the necessary willingness and the intensity of their presence, of their focus, cutting through that would be no problem. And in fact, if you heard what I said, this is the place where you exist in your fullness. It's the only place where you really are. It's the same place that Abraham Hicks talks about, which he says you lining up with your inner being. It's that place where you are in full alignment. That's the edge. Just beyond your fears, through them, but just beyond your fears, just beyond all your conclusions, perceptions. It's like you ignore them to so that you can interact directly with reality for a time. Although you usually run away in fear, or you don't see it for what it really is, or it feeds into your ego and you believe that it was doing it. And then it's unstable and you're very up and down because deep down you know that's not true, but you also don't know the truth, and you're not willing to admit it to yourself. So here's the bottom line whenever it comes to you and your twin flame. There's no you and your twin flame. I know that we talk about this, that people say it, but it's a lived experience, and the edge is the only place where you can really meet your twin flame. They don't exist anywhere else. Everywhere else is just ego. This is the place you go to where you give them up and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You mind motions, energy, maybe absolutely upset, completely freaking out, irreconcilably. But within the heart of that storm is an absolute and dangerous calm. So calm, and such a drastic departure from everything else happening that it appears not even to be there. But it actually is where everything is. Especially your twin flame. And you. Well, you are your twin flame. Like I said, and you'll never be able to meet them and be somewhere other than that place. But to an ego, it sounds like a lot of effort. It sounds like a lot of striving. It sounds very difficult. It sounds like a lot of friction. But that's just the mind. It's not the place I'm talking about. It's just the mind. Now, in regards to your twin flame, if you're in a place right now where you don't want to let them go, it's impossible for you to meet them. You cannot be with your twin flame. What you can do is you can keep that physical body around by manipulating energy in a very crude and purposeless way. A way that doesn't actually get you anywhere or get you anything. Just gets you a little empty clump of flesh. But even beyond that, to whatever extent you feel as though you are getting them, you're not, because you're just getting pure ego and you don't realize it because you're seeing them through your own ego. And when that happens, you see things in a certain particular way that takes illusions to be as real. And so you cannot interact with them. It's not possible. Not possible. You can only interact and perpetuate your karma, staying stuck in cycles. And just because they're around doesn't mean that that's not happening. In fact, if you're doing everything you can to keep them around, including lying about the fact that you're doing everything to keep them around to yourself, and telling yourself that something else is actually happening, like you're enlightened and that, you know, whatever permanent relating experience, which is complete nonsense to the place that I'm talking about. Absolute nonsense. It's seen entirely for what it is, because there's no ability for a counterfeit to exist. Only truth. And any illusion is cut completely through so that you can see what's on the inside. But this place, in contrast to what people typically are trying to do, This is the place where all the things that you're wanting that you don't believe are possible, that your mind has convinced you isn't possible, so that you'll stop trying to seek after it. That's where all of it has always been. It's just past the place where you care about all the drama and you treat it as real. That if you stepped beyond that boundary, where everything's like just beyond where everything real and all the conclusions are, where your twin flame and your life circumstances are very much so what they are, and you're, you know, trying to work yourself through the circumstances. Let's say they're married and they've got a kid and all that sort of stuff. You're over here waiting for the circumstances to change, or you're doing stuff to maybe speed. All nonsense. The place I'm talking about, you're already with them. In fact, that's not even how it is. You're not with them. You are them. And you see that. You live that. It's a lived experience. And it's a place that is entirely inaccessible anywhere else. You actually can't be with your twin flame. You can't meet your twin flame if you're not on the edge. It's the only place that they are. Your twin flame is not the physical person. Doing everything you can to keep them around, that's just ego. It's just ego. And like I said, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It's not absolutely necessary that everyone become fully enlightened. It'd be great. But I think people are allowed to choose how they want to do things. They're entitled to that, right? So, you don't need to be pushed beyond the edge. I don't need to push you. In fact, I can't. Well, it can be done. You can be pushed, but pushing you over the edge where there's nothing to hold on to. Giving that great big Geronimo and jumping off and jumping away from all of the safeties and confines of life into the abyss where seemingly nothing is except for darkness. All of your fears, all of your worries, all of your doubts, all the pain seems to all be there. But after you've made the jump, you realize something is a little bit off. Why aren't things going catastrophically wrong? And suddenly, you see it, and you begin to know and remember what it's like to be alive. What it's like to be free. What it's like to live your life. Live a life without holding on. So that you can experience everything fully. You're not missing any aspect of it. And thus you're not trying to grasp at things because you don't have a fear of missing out on it. Or you don't feel the need to dig it out of the ground later. And you get the full experience. That's where the full experience is. It's not anywhere else. If this is the place that you want to go, there's only one way to get there. And it's not through any amount of sadhana or satsang or anything. There's nothing that will get you there. There's only one thing, and it's not at all specific. Not at all specific. It is If it were to be specific, the complete abandonment of everything that you're holding. Gleefully. Not doing it because you don't want it. Not doing it because you want something else, which is not wanting it. Not doing it for any other reason than it's what you want to do. And you're perfectly happy to do it. It's what you want. Any other place, it's not available. And you will never be able to, you'll never have access to that place without having absolute willingness to go and experience whatever it is that life has to offer without complaint, without getting in your mind and generating stories and creating conclusions and drama about me and them and what's happening, what they did to me and what I'm gonna do to them. None of that. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Because if you're being pulled off into any kind of thing like that, you're not on the edge anymore. So to live so completely and fully on the edge, there's no going back. You have to see the reality of the situation for what it is. And you see that there never was anything. It's all just an illusion. The only place to be is on the edge. It's the only place to be. It's the only real place. And paradoxically, what you see is how everyone is hooked up in a way to resist going to that place in any possible way. And that they're hooked up in a way that has them doing everything that they can to do and become somebody, to be anything but what they are, to drift off into fantastical imaginations rather than to know what's here fully and deeply. They would never know. They could never know that what it is that they're engaging in exists in the place that they're trying to avoid. It exists there fully and with full context. But they want to be the thing that they already had the experience of being. They want to be something that they already are, so they do everything they can to attain it, making it impossible to be in the place that they want to, that they inherently want to go, wherever all the things that they're wanting is. The edge is the place where all those things burn away. They can't exist. They can't exist. So unless you're there, you're not with your twin flame. So how do you get there? How do you be with your twin flame? How do you do it? There's no how. There's no how. There's just do. And there's just not. Yoda spoke on this. That's the edge. He spoke about what it's like to do on the edge. It sounds like a lot. It's not. It's very simple. The mind makes it difficult. And it's all the stuff that you're saying. It's all the stuff that your mind is saying. It's not you. It's not you. But that very place, there's no question. There's no question. It either is or it isn't. There's no interpretation. Interpretation is left up to psychology and individuals with their opinions and their points of view and their unique conclusions, preferences. History, personal history, and how that all factors into what they're doing and why they're doing it, rather than just completely interfacing with reality directly. No filters. partially why, as twin flames, you all don't want to experience that place is because all the things that you're trying to heal, that's where it all is. And you can't take it in bite-sized pieces like you're trying to right now. You have to take it all in one big bite. And you can't go back. Can't go back. It's a forever thing. It's a forever thing. And people don't want to do that because fear, boredom, um, lack, like wanting to keep their comfort and safety, and general unwillingness for various reasons, mostly because they don't want to lose their twin flame, the one that they don't even have. They don't have, you don't have, if you're with your twin flame right now, if you're balancing, if you're doing all that, you're not with your twin flame. You can't be with your twin flame. Not possible. Not possible. Even if their physical body is around, you can't actually be with your twin flame. It's not possible. I'm telling you. It's not possible. Most won't want to see that fact. And that's okay. When recognition happens, what instantly happens is reaching the heart chakra becomes available, which is, you don't have to do anything. It's done for you. It's simple. Even whenever it comes to those awakening in other ways. Getting to the heart is, that's what awakening in a lot of ways. That's what starts it. You know, although a lot of people mistakenly believe that when the heart has opened to some degree, that they are awakened or enlightened. It's a misperception due to lack of awareness. And the desire for things to be different from what they are. What I'm talking about is, you're not trying to get a single thing to be different from what it is. You're not going off into any other past life. I don't care what's real. I don't care. Doesn't matter. And I'm not talking about me caring about, I'm just saying this is what it's like to be at this place. Doesn't matter. I don't care about some other lifetime, some other place out there. Doesn't matter. I don't care if it really happened. And in a lot of cases, the stuff that you guys are talking about really is real. Yes. Does it matter? No. Not even in the slightest. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. I don't care. Outside of maybe certain contextual realities, which means like motivationally, why you may be here is similar to why anything is happening the way that it is in another lifetime that you know about specifically. And maybe that's the reason why you know about it, but you're getting caught in, oh, that's who who I am. It's me. Oh, I'm a star seed, blah blah blah. Everybody's a damn star seed. Okay. Nobody's special in that particular regard. And all a star seed is that you had an experience of being somewhere other than what this life is right now. That's it. Just an experience. Same as this one. Same as this one. And this is the thing. You're seeking the fullness in the places where it's not really. Where it only seems to be but isn't, because it's empty. It's an illusion. And the real place you're avoiding like the plague. That's the place where you throw all that stuff out the window and you say, it doesn't matter. It means nothing to me. Suddenly, you become the embodiment of those lifetimes that you thought was in some far off fantastical place, and you realize, oh, that's all happening now. That's me right now. It's just a very multifaceted kind of mode of existence where where you are in several different places all at once doing the same thing, where dualities and time collapse. It's the edge. It's the edge. Another characteristic of the edge, that's where your greatest joy is. It's at the edge. Beyond the edge. or at the very, very razor edge, that's where your greatest joy is. It's the place where you're not worried about how. You're not worried about if. You're not worried about anything at all. The only thing that has your absolute and full attention is this coming and going, birthing and passing away moment that you can't hold on to. It's not possible to hold on to it. And you realize fully that if there's any amount of holding on that's even attempted to go on, you're pulled out of the moment, or at least potentially being pulled out of the moment, and that you're starting to miss things. You're missing it. It's going on, and you're missing it. I have to get back there. It's where everything is. It's where everything is. And when it comes to your twin flame, only the mind, only an ego would be afraid of throwing away all the things that you all are trying to cling to. Only an ego would do that. Yet you're all awakened, all enlightened. It's fine. You can play that game. You can go be a starseed. That's fine. Go do that. Meanwhile, your twin flame and you, who you really are, is inaccessible. Not possible to get there. Even though it's where you're standing right now and you can't stand anywhere else, you can't get there. It's very interesting, right? Very interesting. And unless you've been there, you will be hooked up in a way that wants you to go anywhere but there. And it will actually have you convinced that there is elsewhere and not actually in the place that you're avoiding. If you feel called out, if you feel like I'm insulting, if you feel like I'm saying something, I assure you I'm not. This is one of the most direct pointers you can get. I'm specifically going out of my way to not particularly describe it in certain ways and only kind of try to keep it close to the ground. And when you do that, it seems like it's entirely negative, like it's rejecting everything. That's the thing about spirituality. Actual, real spirituality will reject everything initially. It says not this, not that. So if not this or that, then what? Exactly. Then what? Ask yourself. Keep asking. Don't stop asking until you find that answer. That's the answer. And don't look anywhere else because you're not going to find it. And if you find yourself looking somewhere else and you find yourself being pulled in and actually feel like you're finding something, just know that you're caught. 100%. You're 100% caught. It's okay. You can get back out because you've gotten out before. You can get back out, and it gets easier the more you do it. But it's like, or when I say get back out, you're not going to be able to do it. Probably. Okay, probably. You're probably not going to be able to do it. And if you did do it, you would just be there. And maybe if you've been there, you can be there before, But and what I'm talking about is in the realm, the bleeding edge, just standing there, not knowing anything necessarily, just standing there. Yes. Just stand there and don't ask questions. I don't care if it feels like nothing's happening, if it feels like it's empty, if it feels like it's boring. Throw that all into the fire. Stoke it. Stoke it with all the stuff that you're harboring. Because that's the fuel for your fire. That's the re-alchemization of the energy that has been taken and laid as the inroads of your subconscious wiring. The very things that has you hooked up in a way that has you resisting going to where you really are. and making the illusion more and more real and more convinced of it by giving it more energy, more credence. If you'd like to go to the place where what you really are is, so that you can be the embodiment of what you already really are, so that you can actually line up with your true twin flame, which is something that you can't find through the body. You're over here trying to mess around with the psychology, the runner chaser, the avoidant. Oh, and I'm gonna text them. I'm gonna do all nonsense, all nonsense, all of it, completely. hmm Go to the edge. Go to the edge. It's where it's all at. When you touch upon that dimension and you experience its fullness, you'll not want to go back. You'll see the emptiness for what it is. You'll see the lies of the non-dualists and the misperceptions of those who heard and who ingested the teachings of Advaita Vedanta, who took spiritual truths into their mind and believed they understood it in a very simplistic manner. Look, like I said, I'm going to say it again. You guys can go have fun. But if you want to know what's real, you have to go to the edge. There's only really one way to do that. And it's not anything in particular, except for the absolute abandonment of everything. That's it. You must sacrifice it all. The same kind of sacrifice that Jesus Christ made. That's in that exact fashion. That's the way you must do it. It's not going to feel that way, but it's the same sort of determination to see it through to the other side that you need. That exact grim determination that if I die, in the process of dying in this way, even that doesn't matter. I just look ahead and I just keep walking. I just go. Don't ask questions. That's the only way. Well, that's the way. Now, if you talk about how, there's no methods, except it does happen in these kind of three ways. In absolute trust, devotion, or madness through the loss of your mind. That spiritual psychosis or whatever that people talk about is the madness happening to them. Although most never make it to the other side, because when I say madness, I'm talking about complete madness. Most people don't. They cling to what they believe their sanity is, even though what they believe their sanity is actually the madness. That makes it difficult to. It has you looking at things backwards. You know, the madness has you seeing the truth as madness. But in the process of going through that madness, you'll want to step off at some point. You know, you want to get off that train. And what I'm saying is, you ride that train all the way to its last station, unflinching, so you don't miss a single bit of it. That's what you do. Are you afraid? Afraid of pain? Let me reuse this analogy. Jesus Christ, the reason why he was able to do partially what he was able to do is because when you live on the edge, there's no fear of pain. It's weird. Paradoxical. Paradoxical. But because of your degree of abandonment, because of the degree of your disidentification, you realize that you are not your body, and that pain cannot touch you if you don't want it, if you wish it not to. And at some point, your realization is so thorough that pain just doesn't touch you. It just doesn't touch you. Or it's so shallow. Surprisingly, you'd be surprised. Even seemingly extreme things happening to you physically. What's happening is so shallow that the pain doesn't even reach you. Doesn't even reach you. And it's not that you're numb. It's just that the pain doesn't reach you. You feel in your capacity for pleasure always increasing, always deepening. Anyway, let's not make this video too long. It's a video on the edge. The only real place. And the place that you, twin flames, must go if you want to be with your twin flame. It's fine, like I said, that if you want to settle for keeping their shell, or keeping a shell of a person around while they act out unconscious patterns that just never stop. You know you're not going to be able to get the real them. Not as much as you know that what's in there. Go to the edge, you get all of them. But you only get them if you're willing to completely sacrifice you and them. Well, there's no you and them. We already know this. See, I say that for you guys, because the way that I experience it is not like that. Now, on some level, of course, you look at the physical body, and it's you, from this perspective, you know, as what pertains to this body and what this body can control, like my hand and other such things, can't control that one. But I am not this body, and I'm not this mind, and I'm not what pertains to it either. I am what my twin flame is, which isn't the physical body. It's coming through the physical body. But until you fully realize that, it becomes impossible to actually meet them. Anyway, that's the video. Y'all have a good one. Bye.